Mic check, mic 212. This is Robin Jermaine. I am Lynn Flow. Live eternal now. That's what it is. Now, this is the part two of the Deuteronomy 28 situation I was talking about last time. And before I get back into it, I need to make a correction. And one of the elders, one of the my leaders, um, I got corrected. Pastor corrected me, and was talking about. Let's just read it. Um, Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and Yahuwah shall scatter you among all people, end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. Okay, when I said last time, the wood and stone, wood, I was talking about Christianity and things like that. And then the stone, I was actually, my mind went to the buildings and what the edifice and what we worship, which that is true, what we do, in Christianity. Oh, my church, whatever. But actually, what it's talking about in that wood and stone is talking about Christianity, and it's talking about Islam and Judaism. Judaism and Islam, because those people talk about the stone and worship the stone and all that type of stuff. It's not talking about the chief cornerstone, who the Messiah is, and all that type of stuff. It's not talking about that. It's talking about Islam and Judaism. So I said it online, so I'm correcting it online. You know what I'm saying? That's what a man does. That's what a real person of integrity does. And I stand for correction as well. I'm not above it. Actually, I welcome it. Because when you can fall in line with the in correction, that's when your barakah, your blessings come. So anyway, that's a little nugget for you. Go do your research. Once again, fact check everything, okay? But let's get right back into it. Said that you would go back into Egypt again by ships. And the verse above it, 64, talks about you're going to be worshiping wood and stone. So to make this more plain, this is not Deuteronomy 28. It is not just in Deuteronomy 28. Check it out. Starts in Deuteronomy 4. Then you go to Deuteronomy 28. Well, Ralph, you just talked in Deuteronomy 28. Does it say it anywhere else? I would really suggest that you read Jeremiah um, chapters 2 through 4. It talks about us as Israel, as Yasharel, as Judah, Yahuda. And if that's not talking about us, I don't know who is talking about. So go read Jeremiah chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter Jeremiah 10, Isaiah 40, Isaiah 44, Ezekiel 6, Ezekiel 8, Ezekiel 20, Hosea 4. Let let's go to Hosea. Let's go to Hosea real quick. I need to read this. Okay. Hosea 4, chapter 4, and Hosea verse 6. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. It says, "My people have perished for a lack of knowledge." We quote that all the time. All the time. People perish for the lack of knowledge. But have you ever read the rest of that? Let's read it. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. "My people have perished for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. Or destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me. Seeing you have forgotten the law of Yahuwah, I will also forget your children." Could that be a reason why we're going through what we're going through now? The wood and stone? We're worshiping the wrong thing. We're worshiping the wrong Alua. We've been worshiping other gods, other Elohims. It's not that people just perish for a lack of knowledge. You perish because you rejected the knowledge that somebody or the Most High was trying to give to you or get to you. Now, if that ain't our people, I don't know this. Let me read it again. "For my people perish for the lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I reject you for being priest for me, since you have forgotten the Torah of your Alua. I also forgot your children. I also forget your the Torah. The Torah, we talked about that last time. We mixed up. Something ain't right. Somebody's lying. Because if he tells us in his word that the Torah is forever, Most High said, I change not. I'm the same as today, yesterday, and forevermore. That when we continue to read and we get outside of the Old Testament, then we enter into the New Testament, quote unquote. Why does it take away from what was said was to be established forever? I ain't changing. This is it. When people come to certain people with what their manuscript says, it's a problem. But I'm not going to get off. I was reading and letting you know all the other verses that talk about wood and stone or idol worship that us as Yasharel have gotten into, what we were into and what we still into in today's day, in today's time. And I want to clarify something. I want to get on here real quick. I want to clarify something. When I'm talking about what I'm talking about, listen to me. I'm not coming against your experience or your encounter. Let me be more, or your spiritual encounter. Okay? I'm not coming against that. You have to listen. You have to have your spiritual ears and eyes on to hear and see this. When I'm talking about Yahuwah, and I'm talking about Yahusha, and I'm talking about the Ruach HaKodesh, that's Hebrew because it says that our Messiah was Hebrew. So why is it that is Hebrew, but everything you telling me is in Greek, Roman, Latin? It's been Hellenized, Hellenization. The council, the Pope, everybody didn't touch the manuscript. But then when I go back and start digging about my actual Messiah and what he said, what he did, and how he said it, and who his father, because he said in his father's name. So if his name was Jesus, how he gonna come in the name God? Them names don't even sound alike, don't even mean the same thing. And a big question mark comes up. Why is it that a problem? He told me that I was gonna wake up. But what I'm saying is this: I'm not coming against spiritual encounters or your spiritual knowledge, because this is what's so amazing about Yahuwah, Eluah, our Father. He told us in Deuteronomy 28, he told us in his word, in his Torah, in his Tanakh, he told us, he gave us the playbook. You gonna go somewhere that you ain't never been, and you gonna worship stuff that your forefathers don't know. He is so amazing, but we chose that path. He didn't do that to us. He allowed it to be. But he's so amazing, and he is so confident. I can't even come up with the descriptive words to tell about our Father. But he is so confident, he'll let you call on him through a false and still answer you. That is what has been happening, because he knows the heart and the intention. So a lot of us have the right, the heart. We're actually calling on our Father. We just have the wrong information, the wrong names. And at one point, it didn't matter because we didn't know. But at this moment, at this time, it does matter because we do know. And because we know, why wouldn't we want to call our Father by his name? Because now we do know. He told us that you were going to wake up in the land of your captivity. You was going to come to know yourself, and you was going to wonder and realize something ain't right, and you would turn. And here I come. That's the Father. Here I come, because now you turning. That was the whole point of going back to Egypt, for the chastisement. It wasn't to over here in Babylon and become successful and work and put our other brothers and sisters down and middle in these different classes and believe in the government and all this type of stuff. No, we was over here to be turned back to Yahuwah so he can be our king. That's what he wanted in the first place, and we chose not to do that, to be that. I am not coming against your spiritual or your encounter or him answering your prayers. I just want you to know that he has been dealing with you, that he's been dealing with me through our ignorance. That's all I'm saying. I ain't never said that you don't love the Father genuinely through and through. But now that I've found out his name, things ain't been the same because names are important. I don't want to call my father a false god anymore. I don't want to call my father Yahuwah a demon name anymore. That's them. That's those pagan people. That's their stuff. That's their God. They gave us their stuff and tricked us into believing that who they were calling on is the actual one, and it is not true. Satan is the god of this world. So don't you think he's touched everything that's in the system, even our holy manuscript? I don't know no other way to say it. But just coming against you and saying that you're not this or that you're not this or you don't know what you've actually encountered by the Father. What I am telling you, the Father has been dealing with his people through their ignorance. And the scriptures that I've been reading have been proving it. They have proved it. You're going to go to a land that you don't know. You're going to worship other gods, another God, wood and stone. You're going to get into some foolishness because you didn't stay with me. But because I have chosen you, I'm going to look out on you. I'm going to still be there because I know your heart intent. But check this. You even got to be careful with that because some of the heart intent has actually been connected to God. Gadriel, Lord, which means Baal. Jesus, Isus, Ishtar, Zeus, Caesar Borgia, or Borgia, however you say his name. This information is out there. This God and Yahuwah are not the same. These are two different entities. You got tennis shoes, right? Nike, which is a mythological demon. Do your own research. But you have Nike and you have Reebok. Yes, both tennis shoes, but they're two different companies with two different missions and visions and all that. Yahuwah and God is no substitute. And that's what we've been dealing. We've been dealing with the substitute of Alua. We've been dealing with the substitute of Yahuwah. There ain't no substitute because the time has come now for you to know yourself. And knowledge shall be increased in the last. And that's all I'm trying to say. We don't have to call we don't have to deal with these idols anymore. The time has come. So once again, consider what's being said. Do your own research. I called out some scriptures and books and chapters and stuff. Go read it for yourself. I don't care what you say. Somebody lying. And it ain't me because I'm taking the same word that we were given, but I took off those lenses of Christianity and I'm reading it for what it says. And when I'm reading it for what it says, I am asking the Ruach HaKodesh, the Kodesh Ruach of Yahuwah, to help me and to show me, Father, is this a lie or is this the truth? Is this yeast? Is somebody put some foolishness in here? If so, what it is, show it to me. Help me to see it. Because if you read it for what it say, some of this stuff, what? But anyway, Deuteronomy 28, this part 2. I've said a lot. You can filter through it. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. It ain't no bones. It is just straight meat. Feel how you want to feel. Once again, it ain't up for debate. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to express what I found as truth. This ain't just what I read. This ain't, see, a lot of the C people say, they laugh and say, people watching TikTok and Instagram, and now they think they know about the Bible. I tell you what, TikTok and Instagram, Facebook putting out more than what the church is. You've been telling the same story for 400 years. How many times you gonna tell Daniel in the Lions Den? And then the stuff that y'all be talking about, Habakkuk 2, write the vision and make it plain. That's foolishness. Habakkuk had got fed up. And the Most High told him to write it down. Write these instructions down. Write what I give you, all this type of stuff. But y'all using this for a way to be successful. Foolishness. TikTok and Instagram putting out more truth than the C people and the church, the circus. And for you pastors that hang your hat on in seminary, if you keep climbing up that ladder, you'll see who at the top, and it ain't who you think. I give you a hint. He wear a fish hat. Who wore a fish hat? Symbolize Dagon, the Philistines. Wake up. You can feel however you about me, but just look this stuff up. I'm just asking you to consider. Stop quoting Paul and don't do what Paul say, because Paul was a lot of his writing back to the Torah. But Paul told Timothy to consider what's being said. I know you don't understand, but just consider. And that's all I'm asking, man. Just consider. Something ain't right. Somebody lying. You're gonna have a new nature to find this out. Your nature's gonna have to be changing. The new nature, all right? I'm out.